Alright, so this is going to cover this miscellaneous string operations, is right, a class with the following method. So again, this is for Java, but I'm just going to do it C++, obviously. It says the method should accept a reference to a string object as an argument and return the number of words contained in the object. So here's going to be my string sentence. The dog jumped over the fence, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words, so I have to be able to count them. This method accepts a char array as an argument and converts it to a string. Most frequent, this method accepts a reference to a string object as an argument and returns the character that occurs the most. Alright, so the character that occurs the most is the E, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 E's. There are, 2 T's? Yeah, so E occurs the most. Replace. This method function accepts 3 references to string objects as arguments. String 1, 2, and 3. It searches string 1 for all occurrences of string 2. When it finds the occurrence of string 2, it replaces it with string 3. Okay, so here's the sentence, and we want to replace the with that, so it finds that dog jumped over that fence, so we'll change that. Okay, cool. So also what I did here is I wrote all these out so you can kind of see what's happening with each step here. So and I also started this already because it takes too long for a setup, and this is a fairly long program, so let's see here. Alright, so I've got my string, test string, and I got it set to that dog jumped over the fence. Alright, so notice how I have word count up here. I just set it to 1. I'm going to pass the test string into word count, and it will see out the count. And we'll say word count and L. Alright, so first thing we want to do is we're going to do a test. If our test string that we pass in is less than 1, then we'll say word count equals 0. Alright, because we want to set it to 1 at first. I'll show you why. Dot length. So if our length is less than 1, then we reassign the count to 0. And right here, then we'll do a while loop. While. Now, in order to count words, there's spaces in between words, so that's what we're going to key off of. So after each space, then put this up here. Okay, there we go. So we'll do a find on this. So while test string dot find, I'm going to find a blank space. While that is not equal to the string npos. So while it finds it, then we'll add up our word count. Okay, so originally we find that, okay, So at position what, 3? Okay, so count is 1, so now count becomes 2. Now the reason for that is the last one is not going to find it, so we're kind of off by 1 until the very last one, and then it adds it up. So so what we'll do is we'll have test string is now going to be equal to the test string dot substring. So now we want to start it, here. We want to be, we found the first one, now we got a new test string, and so we want to just, after each word, we'll reassign this, and then it will look for a blank space, and then we'll add up our counts, okay? So our test string is going to start at where it finds it. Right here, where it finds it. Where it finds it, plus 1. So it finds it at position 3, and then we add 1 to it. So again, our new test string will be equal to dog jumped over the fence, and then we'll run that dog jumped over the fence and find it at here, position. This now our new one would be 0, 1, 2, 3 right there. Okay, and if you're needing to see how this works, so first time through, count is 1. It finds it at position 3 right here. Okay, and then it assigns the new test string case, and that's why I have that right there. After the run, dog jumped over the fence is now set to here. Okay, and so it found it at position 3. 3 plus 1 would be at position 4, where dog jumped over the fence. Okay, so now our new test string is this, and this is the index of it. Okay, so for the next one, it's going to find it at position 3 down here, and then plus 1 would be jumped over the fence. So that's where I've got jumped over the fence from. Okay, the J and jumped is at position 4, so that's like right here, and it gets assigned in here, and it does this the whole time until fence. It doesn't find anything in fence, so it doesn't have it's not there. Okay, so and the whole time it's counting up. All right, so let's see here, let's make sure this works. Might be errors on this. Nope, count 6. I just thought there might be errors because I've got these methods that are all commented out. Alright, so alright, so what do we got here? So we got arraytostring. So all I did was take this test string and I put this into a character char array. Okay, and so it says the dog jumped over the fence, but there's each character is has its own index position. So we want to turn this into a string. So what I did was I passed in the array and the size of the array. So give me the number of elements. I think there's 29 elements in that. So I mean, we can count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Okay, 29, yep. So that gets passed in here. So you got the array and then 29 right there. And then all we'll do is we'll just create a new string, call it char array to sentence. We'll set it to blank. And we're going to do cout char array to sentence. And then we'll have this right here display. Okay, let's do an indel in there. Alright, so all we're going to do is just do a for loop and run through each array element and then add it to the char array to sentence. So let's say int I equals 0, I is less than, what is it, char array size. So that's just that right there. So it'll be 1 is less than 29. And then we'll do what, this plus equals the char array at position I. Okay, so this is a really easy method or function. Char array to sentence. The dog jumped over the fence. Okay, all right, so that's easy. This next one's the hardest one. It's not that difficult, but I don't know. I guess in my mind, for new programmers, this is hard to think through. Some of you might not find it hard. I don't know. All right, so let's think about this. You want to find the one with the most, so you're going to have to create like a counter, and you're going to have to go 1, you're going to have to be on like this one, and then you got to compare it to this one, and then the E, and then the blank, and then all the way, and then until it finds that one, it goes, oh, there's a second one, so now there's 2 of them, and you keep going to the end. And then you got to go to this one, and then compare the H to all of these, and then you got to go to this one, and take the E and compare it to all of these. So you're doing one at a time, so you're going to need a nested loop structure, okay? So you're going to have an outer loop that looks at this one that you're currently on, and you're going to compare it to the inner loop one that looks at every single one inside of it, all right? And so, let me get down in here. So we got our test string that's passed in, so we're going to have an int most frequent. We'll set it to 0. We're going to have an int count equal to 1, and an int index equal to 0. Okay, and then we're going to have, like I said, a nested for loop structure. So I'm going to say what? Int I equals 0. I is less than the test string dot length I plus plus. And so that will give us our first position 0. Okay, so that's going to give us our first position right here. That's I, but then we want to do, for the inner one, we want to do position 1, then 2, all the way down. So we need to do an int x, or int whatever you want, but I usually use x and y for these. But I'd say int x equals I plus 1. I needs to be less than the length of our test string. Not I, sorry, x. X plus plus. Okay. So again, I is where we start, and then x would be, position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So inside of here, we're going to have our if statement. Okay. We're going to say if. Okay, and I did some stuff here that you might not do. Like, there's potential that the blank space could be the character that is the most used, so I want to skip those, all right? So I'm going to say if the test string dot at position I is not equal to a blank position, and my test string dot at position I is equal to the test string dot at x. Okay, then we'll count it up, count plus plus. So count's always going to be 1 because you're at the current 1, all right? So you have a t, that's the first one. But then if I go through here and I go up, here's another t at for I at position 0, and for position 20 for x, those are the same. Then we add up, count again, so count would be 2 for the t's, okay? So now, after that, after you run through all of them and you get your count, you need to see if the count that you add, so t, the most frequent, remember, is 0. So now, the most frequent is 2 because there's 2 t's. So if the count is greater than the most frequent, then our new most frequent is the count. So that would be 2. Okay? And then we want to give the index position at position I, because, I mean, I guess you could do it at, well, yeah, you'd have to do it at I because x is going to run all the way through. You want whatever value so that you'll know later on. So later when you say at index position 0, that would be equal to t or whatever. If that's the most used, then you could display that's the one that's most used, okay? So now after this, we want to reset our count back down to 1 because remember, we've added up our count and now we want to bring it back down to 1, okay? So then we'll say cout most frequent this will be our most frequent, and the character will be at the index position. So then after the t is the most frequent, then we go on to the h, and there's another h. So now the only thing is, if it's a tie, it will just so let's say t and h. There's 2 t and h's, and let's say we don't worry about. Is there any other that's O is used twice? There's a bunch of them that are used twice. But it's just going to do the very first one because, you know, I've got, is the count 2, is that greater than the, so is, let's say O has 2 of them, but we already did this with T, so T is the most. O has 2, is 2 greater than 2? No, so it's going to skip O and go, you know, O won't be it, but ultimately E is the one that's most used, so that's going to be the one that's going to display. So anyway, we get to E, and then it'd be, you know, it'd check here and here and here and here all the way. Oh, there's 1, there's an E, so the count is 2. Then it'll go over here 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you're basically, the outer loop is just finding whatever position you're at, and then the inner loop would compare where your outer loop I is at and compare it to all the x's. And each time it finds one right here with that if statement, it would add it up. And I am skipping blank spaces, so let's see if this works. Again, I've written this type of stuff so many times that it makes sense, but this, you know, there's many of you that wouldn't be able to do this semester, and that's fine. That you know, this is going to take some time for you to kind of figure out. But like I said, that's the characters at E. Alright, and so I did do that. You know, I only did one of these here because I wasn't going to go through 29 different steps for each one, but you can see most frequent 0 counts 1, index is 0, I is 0, 0 is less than 29. Then we go to X, I is 0 plus 1 is 1 less than 29, yes. And then what do? We do if, what's at position T right here, that's at 0, is that not equal to 0? And is what's at position, is T equal to what's at position 1, which is 8? No, it's not. So it would skip that if statement stuff. And then we go back down here, add 1 to I, it becomes 2. Is 2 less than 29? And then you just keep going. Is T equal to E? No. Is T equal to blank? No. Is T equal to D? No. So you would just keep going over and over and over. But that's kind of how I'd set that up if you needed to write that out. Alright, we got one more, the replace. Alright, so... Alright, let me... So replacing the with that. So we'll do a cout at the end. I think, what do we call this? New string. So the new string that displays alright, so what are we gonna have? We've got I'm gonna say string t string equals the test string. The string new string is going to be equal to blank. So the old is the, and the new string is that. And I meant to say new test string. Alright, so again we've got this while loop because we don't know how many thes are in the sentence necessarily. So we'll do t string dot find the old string, so find the old, okay, and if it's not equal to the what string and POS, if it's not there, then what do? We take the new string, do the new test string, and we add up, and we say t string dot substring, and we go 0 to the t string dot find old string. Okay, so we would find it at position 0, right? So that would be actually so 0 comma 0 would be just a blank space in front of it. Okay, so then we do what? New string, new test string, test string plus equals the new string. So we're taking the new string and we're adding blank to it, and then we add our let me think here, new string to it. So this would be adding that in front of the new string. Now remember, the new string would be that, like right here. Let's do it real quick. Cout. Just test new string, new test string. What's going on? Let's run that real quick. It should say that the, yeah. Let's do this then. Let's do tstring. Let's finish this up. Tstring is equal to tstring dot substring. And then we want a tstring dot find the old string, so it'd be the, and then plus the old string dot length. So let's look at this real quick. Test that. Okay, test that dog jumped over that. Okay, whatever. That. Alright, so let's get rid of this then. And run this again. What did I do? New string. I think I screwed something up. Think here. So we got new string 0 to the old string. Then we got new string plus new test string plus the new string. And then we do, wait. At the end when it's done, I gotta add something back into it. I gotta go new test string plus equals the tstring. So that's just adding on the last piece here. So let me show you. That should say new string that. Okay. And this should say new test string. There we go. This should be fine. That dog jumped over that fence. Okay. That was doing the new string. That was just saying that. But this adds it all up. So we go 0 to the old string, which the first case we don't want anything in front of it because we don't have, because it starts right here. Okay, but like let's say it didn't start there, let's say it was just right here, we would want to strip off this whole first part. Again, let's assume that's not there. Let's say it says dog jumped over the fence, it would want dog jumped over space, and then we would want the first part of the string in there, and then we would skip this part and then add in that to our string and then add in the end. That's what we're doing here. So this gives us, again, the first part of our string, then we put in that to the new test string, and then we assign this to, where the old string, is, which would be what, fence? Right here. It would be like this part right here, right? If we didn't have the right up here, it would just be, it would give us that part, the end part, because we would have dog jumped over that, and then this would add in fence right here to tstring, and then dog jumped over that, and then we would add fence back in at the end. Okay, so anyway, go ahead, test this and try working with this, but these are all really good string manipulation type programs that, you know, if you can figure these out on your own, you should be really good on the strings information.